In this video, we're going to talk about the top 3 types of Etsy customers that Etsy sellers would be crazy not to sell to in 2025. If you're like most Etsy sellers, you probably struggle to figure out exactly what to sell and who to sell to make the most money possible in your Etsy shop. I'm going to give you the top 3 customers for 2025 and walk you through step by step on how to identify who the most profitable customers would be. I've been on Etsy for over 8 years. I've made hundreds of YouTube videos about selling on Etsy, and I've personally sold to over 100 different types of customers. And the first type of customer to sell to, I'm calling it buyers for boomers. Buyers for boomers are not boomers. We are targeting people who buy for them. The person you are selling to is their child or loved one. This means you have to appeal and position your giftable items for that younger generation. This is a great competitive advantage if you can create branding that appeals to the millennial generation when they have their aging loved ones in mind. Gone are the days of just going to Vistaprint or Shutterfly and buying an ornament with your kid's face on it or a blanket with your children on it for your parents. We want to go for something that's more special, more unique, and potentially more useful or practical for this aging recipient. Now, the branding, it's going to have to be different than when the millennial is buying for themselves. Dated branding, or maybe branding that the aging person might be drawn to, that also is not going to convert the buyer who is a millennial. You're going to want to focus everything around quality, but also simplicity, and focus on all of the ways that this aging recipient spends their time, their energy, and their money. This would include in this shop a mixture of print-on-demand, hand-picked by a seller, and handmade items. So buyers for boomers. Now, the second type of customer that I recommend selling to, especially in 2025, this one is a mouthful, so write this down. Heirloom quality minimalist gift givers. Out of my 3,500 Etsy seller students, the shops that target this type of customer do so well, so consistently year round. And they're seeing consistent increases, up to 60% year over year. This second type of customer is the person who buys heirloom quality, personalized gifts for everyone they know. This could be from babies to children to adults to newlyweds to friends, etc. This is not the customer who would buy gift boxes that are packed full of trinkets. They invest maybe in one larger piece or more expensive piece, and this would be personalized in some way or unique in some way, such as the color, the material, the size, the lettering. Quality is really key here, and the average order value would be around $100 to $120. The product mix itself would mostly be listings that are between $80 to $500, and there would be a few select loss leaders mixed in. When they purchase something for someone else, they're looking for something high quality, a statement, either maybe a little bit more minimalist. They're not feeding into consumerism, so they want something that's heirloom quality and that's more of an investment piece. This customer doesn't want to give something that will become outdated. They're willing to spend more on something that is special and of high quality and that will last a long time. Product types for this would be ceramics and pottery. I have sellers that have gone from a couple $1,000s a month to over $30,000 a month in the ceramics and pottery arena. You could also do leather items. One of my students actually did $435,000 with custom leather items in his first full year on Etsy. You could also do things like glass items. One of my top sellers right now in my program does a mixture of glass items. Also silver items, silvers and metals, things that look like they're going to last a long time. You could also focus on quality wood items and embroidered items. Embroidery, I have found that to be one of the top 3 most profitable things on Etsy. And there is actually a shortage of embroidery that is customizable and that ships quickly. I'm not talking about print-on-demand embroidery. I'm actually talking about either a smaller production partner or yourself, where it's really fully customized embroidered items. I found that in the UK, there were only about 10 shops that were offering this, and none of them were very competitive. So huge opportunity with these categories. With this customer, I would not recommend mass market POD providers like Printful or Printify, and I would also not recommend digital in this shop. It would really be handmade or altered items, or with the use of local production partners, almost as if the turnaround time and the customization options would be as if you are doing it yourself. If you really think about the people you know people like this. You know people who wouldn't put together 10 $5 products into a gift box and give it. They would rather have one fun, $50 or $100 item that is going to last a long time, and they'd rather gift that. Now, the third type of customer that I would sell to is especially pertinent for any print-on-demand sellers, and I think we're going to see this in even a bigger way in 2025. It's also a mouthful, so get ready. We're going to call it coughless, collection-obsessed FOMO limited edition shopper. This is such a great way to show up under a huge variety of search results. This type of customer is invigorated by trends and newness. They are aware of pop culture and invest a portion of their disposable income with having the latest and greatest things. They buy the new iPhone. They upgrade their car to the newest model. They buy limited edition Stanley Cups. Targeting this customer works really well if you're a print-on-demand shop, and we've also seen it be a fantastic way to increase the LTV, the lifetime value of your customer, and multi-item orders with your customers. I would say it also would work with a combination of handmade, hand-picked by a seller, and print-on-demand. Now, the reason I like balancing out a product mix with multiple categories like this is because then we have some products that are higher margin, and we have some lower margin but more passive products that are print-on-demand. So it can play out really well through collections of certain trends or themes in the shop. For example, let's say the toile trend. There might be 30 different types of products in a toile print, and that is one collection or one release. I would drop at least one collection per month at minimum. I would heavily use site merchandising within the shop to create a very Nordstrom look and feel. So this means your shop is one space, just like Nordstrom, right? With a bunch of smaller collections within it. With this, I would also use the drop model to create scarcity, specifically with any physical, handmade, or hand-picked by a seller product collections. And this urgency within the period of a drop will really increase the sell-through percent on any physical inventory you're carrying. If you don't come from an e-commerce background, sell-through in turn are both really important metrics to be looking at. With our students, right, we use and we teach corporate e-commerce principles. So if you are managing inventory, we want to focus on sell-through because that is how quickly you regenerate cash flow from what you've invested in inventory. So that is the third customer I would sell to, the collection-obsessed FOMO limited edition shopper. If you're not sure, like FOMO, what is she saying here? Fear of missing out. if you're not quite up to speed with that. Out of the 3,500 sellers that I've worked with, sellers that are doing over $50,000 a month, 90% of those sellers are selling within one of these three categories. Now, $50,000 a month in revenue, profit on that could range from 30 up to 75%. So these are the three types of customers that I would sell to in 2025 to make a ton of money. And if you are wanting guidance on pivoting your shop towards a profitable customer, please feel free to schedule a free call with us where we can take you through what our one-on-one coaching looks like. All right, everyone, I'll see you in the next video.
The month before I started the program, I made $696. The first month after joining the coaching program, I made $4,149, and that came from 133 orders in my Etsy shop.